Welcome to another video on Paul Ryan Codes. Today we are going to discuss the dreaded Z-index. This is something most people don't understand. I was in that camp. It seems like a simple thing. Like when you think of Z-index is the order of elements, like they're stacking on the screen, like a modal should always go in front. There's a little bit more to it, and when you understand a little bit more, it can get you out of some nasty situations where you can end up investing a load of time. And I've seen this happen a lot. So just having the knowledge that I'm going to give you today, you should be able to go through most of these issues without much hassle. The first section of the video is going to be basic stacking. Just get used to how Z-index works and how it works on positioned elements versus non-positioned elements. Positioned elements are elements that have any position except for static. DOM elements by default have position static. That is really important to know, so remember that. Get a tattoo of it. The second part of the video then is going to discuss the stacking context. This is the part I see people are kind of surprised when you explain how it works, because it's not covered a lot and I think people don't really know it. And once you know that, I think then you can really start kicking Z-index ass. Although Z-index will always kick your ass, but you can at least put up a good fight. So let's go. So pink, we're going to make 3 divs. Blue, and the next one can be green. Okay. We want to give the pink and blue classes a position. So we're going to give a position absolute. And as well as that, we're just going to give them some dimensions. Let's do 200 pixels. And then for the width, we will also give that 200 pixels, and we'll actually copy and paste this because we don't want to give the green element a position, but we want to give it some dimensions. And save. Nice auto formatting. Now, as you can guess what we have to do next, let's give our colors. So pink has background pink, and blue, as you can guess, has background blue. And finally, green, which is our non-position element. Well, it has position static because that's the default given to it. So we can do background green. Nice. And now what I want to do here, just to make this a bit clearer, is give these values, because we can then see them kind of stacking behind each other. So just do the same. And do 40 and 40. Okay, nice. Now, the confusing thing here is you have blue is in front of pink because blue comes after pink in the document, but green is behind all of them. So by right, it should be pink at the back, then blue, then green. But as you can see, that's not happening. Green is actually going behind these two. So as you can probably guess, the reason this is happening is because of the position static that is given to it. When an element is position static, Z-index makes absolutely no difference. So if I go down to green and I say Z-index 1000, it doesn't work. You can't put a Z-index on a non-positioned item. This is really important, okay? So when you're putting Z-index on something, most people will do this. This will mess up the document for me, but it's fine. So you do position relative. So anytime we see Z-index being applied to something, it must have position relative, absolute, fixed. It can't have static. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay? That is key. That is the first part of this video, and it's probably the most important part. That anytime an element is static, remember they're static out of the box, then you can't apply Z-index and it will always go to the back of the positioned item. So now we're going to discuss the second part of this video, which is the stacking context. This is the other key area that you need to know. So we can get an example together. I've added black in between the blue div, and we're just going to give it some styling like we did with the other one. So we can do, first let's actually make it the position absolute. Like so. We can change that background color to be black, and for the dimensions I think we're going to make it a little bit smaller because it actually helps to visualize what's going on. So you can see black is on top of blue there, which makes sense, but let's now say we want pink to come out in front, so we're going to apply Z-index. So we put Z index on pink to be 10. So 10 is now in front. Oh, sorry, pink is now in front. And now for blue, we always want to make sure that's behind. We'll do 9. And now the designer comes on and goes, remember that black square you put in? I want that to come to the very front. You're like, that's no bother. I can just bump up the Z index or something crazy. So I put the Z index to 1000. And you see there's no change. You're like, wait. You're like, I thought you understood Z index. I have a really high Z index here. It's much higher than the rest of them. Why the hell is it not coming out in front? That is because this is Z index 1000. Yeah, like Jesus Christ, that's high. But it's 1000 in the stacking context of the blue class, which is 9. So 9 is essentially the stacking context. And Z index is the 1000 within that 9. Now this sounds confusing. But the way you look at it is you look at your element, which is black. You go, does it have a parent? It does. It's blue. Blue has a Z index applied to it of 9. So no matter what I put in here, it's never going to come outside that Z index. That is the stacking context. And this is something that can really catch you out. So just remember that. If you see some strange action where you're setting a huge Z index on something, the two things I would look out for first is, does it have for positioning? If it does, then check, does its parent have a Z index defined? Because that's how it works. It's only 1000 within this 9. Within this stacking context is what they call it. But that's just a fancy way of saying, does the parent have a Z index? So that is it for the video, and I think that is the two main areas of the Z index. So when Z index isn't behaving the way you want, you have two checkboxes. Do I have a position on my element that is not static? And the second thing is, does the parent element have a Z index that will cause a stacking context? Okay, so as all the YouTubers say, smash that like button. Don't smash it, just press it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos. You can drop a comment calling me dickhead, or if you'd like to see material and other stuff, it's up to you. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you learned something.